Hey, welcome back to our delve into the mother sauces. We're on to sauce number 4, tomato sauce. Oh, while you're at it, you saw this, like, subscribe, click on all the buttons except for no dislike. So the last one is going to be the fun one, but we're going to go into tomato sauce. This one is fairly easy. It takes the longest because, well, I do it a little bit different. And so do the French, and so do the Italians. The French version of this, I am not a big fan of. It calls for essentially simmering it down and then thickening it with a roux. I know the French like their roux. Well, who doesn't? Everybody likes a roux. However, for this, I don't know, I think it just kind of muddies the flavor of it, which is why I like the Italian version, which is just a straight reduction. I kind of like. But to start that off, we're going to cook up some mirepoix. I've got some onions. We're going to give that a quick dice. And again, I'm going to use one of my techniques that doesn't necessarily give the most equal dice, but it really doesn't matter in this. For this, I'm just going for speed. This is about an onion. We're going to get it started. A little bit of olive oil. You'll notice I got the big old cauldron out today. We're gonna sweat this down a little bit, and we're gonna get a little color. Not a heck of a lot, but just a little. Start off with a little bit of salt. Now, with this, be careful with the salt. I only put a little pinch in here. This is gonna be reducing down. When you reduce liquids with salt in it, the water will evaporate, but the salt's gonna stay in there. So if you season, say, properly season a quart's worth of liquid, so that it tastes about right at a quart, you reduce that down to 2 cups, you're gonna have a salt lake. And we don't want that. That's gonna take a few minutes. I'll be right back once I'm done. Okay, these onions have been going for a little bit, probably about 4 or 5 minutes. They're starting to get some color on them. I don't want to get them totally caramelized. I just want a little color. I've also got a nice little fond forming here. One of the things that I like between the Italian version and the French version is something the French does. The French, they like to add pork into theirs. Traditionally, they're going to use salt pork, and of course, if I were using salt pork or bacon or something like that, I would have had that in the pan and rendered off the fat and then cooked the onions off in that. But unfortunately, due to the time of this COVID-19 thing, my supermarket's been limited in what they add. But I did find something. Turkey leg. It's smoked. It'll work. So I'm going to throw that in there. Start getting that warm. We're going to add a few other things. I got some garlic here. We want to just smash that up a little bit. Of course, I do it with my hand because I like my hand smelling like garlic. We'll toss them in there. Toss in a couple of bay leaves. It's a dried chili. I believe this is a mild one. If it's a little spicy, I don't really mind. Try to get as many of the seeds out as possible. And we're just going to crumble that up in there. a little bit of a stir. One of the things that works really well with tomato sauces and stuff like that is a little bit of wine. The alcohol helps bring out alcohol-soluble flavors. So, and if you watch my tips, you saw that I do like these little bottles. They come in handy. So that's about 6 ounces, 5-6 ounces. Let that reduce just a little bit. And then we're gonna add our tomatoes. But let's talk tomatoes first. Those pretty, not quite totally red tomatoes you see at your local supermarket are not the best things for this. The reason why I say that is those tomatoes were grown and shipped and picked for transport, not necessarily for flavor. So if you've got someone that you have a source of tomatoes that you can pick right off the vine, go for it. That's gonna work out best for you. Because most of the stuff you're gonna buy commercially, and to a certain extent, some farmers markets are just not gonna be quite what we're looking for. So with that being said, I use canned. These are canned tomatoes, peeled, stuff like that. I'm just gonna use 4 of these cans. A Terry pet peeve. These lids. One of the worst cuts I've seen in a kitchen was coming from one of these lids. So, you have the can, you have the lid. Put the can in the lid. Crush the can. Lid doesn't go anywhere. Throw this in the trash or your recycle. So here's can 3 and 4. So while they're in there, I'm gonna take my spoon and just kind of mash them up just a little bit. We're gonna do more mashing at the end. Also, you'll notice that I only put bay leaves in here. I'm gonna put more herbs in there later on, but I'm gonna use fresh herbs. So that's always best to put in it near the end. So with this, I'm gonna bring it up to a little bit of a boil. And then from here, it's gonna go straight into the oven. I'm gonna check on it every half hour. My oven is set at 300 degrees. I'm gonna check on it every half hour. I want some evaporation. I want some, maybe a little bit of caramelization. That'd be nice. But I do want to give it a little bit of pepper though, before we go in there. Just a few nice grinds. And again, we're gonna wait for the salt till the end after everything is evaporated and we get a good idea of where we are on our seasoning. With that, I'm gonna throw this in the oven and I'll see you back in, well, a second for you. But for me, it'll be probably about an hour and a half or so.
Hi, once again, someone forgot to turn on the microphone. I'm going to blame my daughter on this one since she was running the camera. So what I'm showing you here is that I got a little bit of concentration flavor. It took about 40 minutes at 500 degrees. And now I'm going to yank out that turkey leg. I also pulled out the bay leaves beforehand. Those are not the greatest to chew on. Although that turkey leg, that turned out pretty good. I snacked on that. Next, we're going to throw in some of the herbs. I told you, or maybe I didn't. I think I may have edited that out. We're going to throw in some basil. But since we're going to chop this up and puree it a little bit with the stick blender there. It's all going to get worked in, it's going to get cooked. That's of course assuming that I can, you know, figure out how to handle the cord there. One nice thing is you don't have to hear the buzzing of the machine, or, you know, some of the stupid words that I am fumbling over. So I'm going to get them fairly smooth, and right here I'm going to cut it off, and we'll pick it up in a little bit. So I'm done with the blender. All we need now is a plate of spaghetti, and oh yeah, like, subscribe, share, comment, all that stuff. Don't dislike, just do the other stuff.